Welcome to Two Mums in a Pod.
So, hi guys, I'm Kate.
I'm Naomi.
And we're a little bit nervous.
Super nervous.
Yeah.
I've never done this before. You've done it a little bit.
I've done a podcast before, yeah, but I've never hosted our own.
I'm super excited. And we've been waiting so long for this. More so.
This has been in the planning and in the making, guys, for a very long time. If you remember.
More you than me.
Yeah, because I was going to do it on my own. And then
I arrived.
And then you arrived. And it's just so bizarre, isn't it? How it's like worked out. And the whole point of the podcast, which was what we're going to go into now, is it's about mums and bringing them together, but not just mums who want to be mums, who are not mums yet.
Yeah,
and
everyone. We're not leaving anyone out.
We're not leaving anyone out.
We want to do the journey, the doing it, everything that links in with it.
The hard bits.
The very hard bits.
We're going to be discussing the hard bits of motherhood and then trying to be a mum as well.
Yeah. And I think most important, like now with parenting, there's two polar opposites. Like, it's like you've got to do this and you can't do that, or you can't do that. We want to show that it doesn't matter. You can do anything. Whatever works for you, do it.
It's your rule. Someone said to me, your baby, your rules.
100%.
And that is the point of our podcast, isn't it?
100%. Because you can't, we're all different. Our children are different.
Do you know what my motto is? Life would be very boring if we all looked the same, act the same, and we all just were the same. It'd be all, and we all have the same thoughts as well. Life would be so boring. So we do not want that, do we? So this podcast is about bringing people together, but we're not just going to talk about motherhood, because me and you are business women.
Yeah.
I'm not a very good one.
No,
I'm not. I'm really not.
We've got so many different things that we can speak about. And do you know what's mad? I feel like for so long we've both done like stuff on Instagram or TikTok, and we've never actually come together for something like this.
No.
So that's going to be exciting.
It is. It's really exciting. But we do want to stress this is only a three part, yeah. It's just 3 episodes that we sort of want people as well to know, because I'm going to bring it up. Let's be honest, we all know that me and you get a lot of
abuse.
Shit, I was going to say. Absolute dog shit, may I add. And it's hard, isn't it? Like,
you know what I think is the worst thing? So like, there's always 2 completely different stories. So there's like what people type online, and then they see us on our stories, maybe discuss a little bit of it, but we've never actually been able to go into things. So it's normally us just like stepping back or just talking, but we've never actually had a discussion about things. No. And even me and you
we're
don't.
Also, sorry to interrupt, also me and you are going to set the record straight on a few things. So
100%.
This is our chance, guys.
To just reply to you.
Yeah.
So you know who you are as well. Because I know you're watching.
Yeah. Hi haters. Thanks
for making us here.
Yeah. And thanks for putting our insights up. No, in all seriousness, like, it's hard. Our job is hard, and people see snippets, very, very small snippets of our day, of our life, what we post online.
You know the
and
crazy
they ridicule
thing?
and rip us apart. We're going to be interrupting each other all the time.
And I'm a digresser as well, so I do apologise in advance. How many times we've met up and done stuff, and we've actually never gone into what we're going to speak about the podcast anyway.
No.
So like, we normally meet up and like Sully's on a conveyor belt in Yo Sushi, or
Olive's literally like throwing something at someone, and I'm like, Olive, get down from up there, like diving head down in the slide first.
Yeah, like we've never actually got down and dirty like we're going to do now. Which is crazy.
Which is scary. I'm scared. But then at the same time, it needs to be spoken about. We want to speak about topics that aren't spoke about. For example, miscarriage, struggling for a baby. Yeah. People do not realise 1 in 3 people have miscarriages. It's a massive subject that I seen on someone's, I think it was like a podcast or something. It was a story, and I can't remember who it was, and she posted the biggest thing that she hates is that when people say, don't tell people until you're 12 weeks.
So I've had 3 miscarriages before Sullivan. I have told everyone as soon as I've been pregnant, and I know that to some people that's wrong, but one of my best friends, she's had more miscarriages than me. She has always said straight away, because she said no matter what point you're at, it's going to hurt you. Yeah. So what do people expect when you're 3 months in?
Exactly.
And then you don't want to show your feelings regarding it.
And then as well, I think with obviously we will speak about this on, we might speak about it now or in the next podcast. We haven't really got a plan, guys. We're just sort of winging it.
We've done 100 notebooks.
Well, you have. I haven't. I can't even read or write. So
I live by a notebook.
I'm literally just like, I just like voice note you things, don't I? Like, this would be good for the pod. This would be good for the pod. But yeah, over the miscarriages, over the miscarriages, I think for me, I told everyone straight away and I got everyone round and it was like a big thing. I announced to everyone, I got like little boxes made for like Matt's mum and dad and my mum and dad. And it was like a really big thing. And then obviously I had a miscarriage and then I do get the side of don't tell people till you're 12 weeks because it's so common. Yeah. But then at the same time, the people that I told were the ones that would be there for me anyway. Yeah, so when I was crying in bed, because I was at a really low point in my life. This is probably the lowest point of my life and the trolling was really bad at this time. Don't even want to get upset because I always think back of like the time of this, those people that I actually did tell, they were the ones there ringing me, knocking on my door, trying to make me get out of bed because I know what's
insane the most? That like hopefully now doing this podcast, people see that we're not just someone on a screen and we're people.
Yeah.
Who in their right mind, because everyone listening to this now will be like, what on earth? Who is trolling a woman that's just gone through that? Like, who?
But the thing with trolling is, and I think we definitely will be speaking about it on this podcast. I've found out a lot of my trolls and I've got the police involved and it's quite funny because people think that the police aren't taking it seriously when in fact they are taking it very seriously and we've got a massive case and if these people continue when it goes to a court of law, all this will be used in evidence. So the things that have happened to me, which I will be discussing on the pod, I can't address it like, fully
you've
online.
Got something ongoing with it.
I've got an ongoing thing with the police. So
that's a crazy thing. I think they think that if they've not been caught straight away, and do you know the worst thing as well? A lot of them justify, well, it's just words, but it's not because can you imagine getting them messages and well, to be fair, I get trolled bad, but yours is another level.
Yeah,
like yours is like gone on to the next step.
I think it's because I kept acknowledging it and addressing them.
So
I was like giving them something. Yeah, but it's mad. The ones I found out 5. Properly 5.
So I've only found 2. But the 2 that I found...
Were they dead apologetic?
No.
Weren't they?
No. So one of them was just like nasty, which shocked the life out of me, but not in a bad way. What am I going to do when I find her?
Yeah.
I've got obviously like all the messages of proof it's her, but they've never gone to the level with you as they have with you. So I've always been more okay to just kind of leave them.
Yeah, and I feel like you guys... every time I speak about it, I literally got like a lump in my throat because I was at a point where I didn't want to be here. And that to me is like the lowest of the barrel. And I just can't understand why these people want to do this. But then what I've had to do is I have a psychologist now. Yeah. So I've had one for a while.
That breaks my heart that you've even got to do that. Do you know what I mean?
But it's made me who I am today.
Yeah. And you're such a strong person.
I am strong, but that I seem to be strong and I'm not. Because at the time when I felt the way I felt so embarrassed, mortified on who I was and who I've been over the years. Like I have not been a perfect person. I've not grew up to be a perfect person. I've not had the perfect upbringing.
So I think this is the hardest thing with trolling. So this is particularly with mine. If you went through every troll thing, it's never individually about me, it's things in my life. So there's me as a person, I've not done anything. I know it sounds daft, I go to work and I look after my son, that's all I do.
Yeah.
Whereas the trolling, like, it's things about like your childhood that you can't change or things that in your life
that you've done in the past change. We all make mistakes, like we all do. And do you know what? I am glad I've made them mistakes because
they make you who you are.
But I've learned from them mistakes and I'm not the person I was prior Olive. I'm not the person I was a year ago. I'm not the person I was 10 years ago. I'm not the person I was 15 years ago. So I think this is the biggest thing with it, and I know you will definitely find this. So my one troll,
I grew up with her, and you will have them that you've known. And I think it's insane because she was recently at a wedding. I'm not going to disclose who she is. And she said to somebody,
hun, she'd love that promo.
She said to someone, I've known her all these years, but I haven't spoke to her in 9 years. So no, you know me 10 years ago when I was gullible and naive and a people pleaser. Now, hun, you don't know me. Yeah, I'm a different person. I'm like complete.
But you know what though? And this is of years of me like working on myself and years of working, because I know a lot of people are going to listen to this who are being trolled, not just like people influencers. Like there was a girl who committed suicide in Ireland. She was 21 and I've told you about her, haven't I? And she was getting trolled via Snapchat and I think it was like TikTok or something. And her mum has gone online and spoke about this so openly, like, because it's not just like influencers. I hate that bloody word. And like celebrities, it's not just that. It's people who are going online thinking they can get away with it. And, you know, having no, like, is the word repercussion? Yeah. Repercussion. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. So I think that's a problem. It's online. And especially think after lockdowns, people, like, they don't have that kind of personal kind of things anymore. People just think, well, everything's behind a screen. People aren't real people. I can say what I want. And now, class it as freedom of speech.
Yeah, but what I agree with everything of that. But then you've got to look at their side. I know this. You're like,
So you're compassionate on that side.
Yeah. So this is where I'm like, okay. So when I found out all these people, every single one of them is struggling with their mental health. And it doesn't excuse what they've done, because when I disclose what they've done, which I'm going to on this pod, you will all be like, how do you like get up every day and things like that? Because I've got a fucking baby who looks at me every day and goes, Mummy, what are we doing today? And she and Sul, there are reasons. So that's why we're going. That's why we keep going.
This is a big, like when you're saying obviously how you felt, when my trolling was at its worst, so Sullivan was 6 months old, I was on my own, single parent. It was lockdown. I couldn't go back to work. I couldn't see people. I had this new baby. I was drained and my trolling was horrific. Now
it's always when you're in your worst time, but that's not just about trolling, guys. When you're in your worst time of life, everything seems to go to shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And I suffer
but what
really
doesn't
bad
kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, I pick really bad. So like it'll be on my face, or it'll be if I know I'm around people, it'll be like, it sounds
I pick my body.
Yeah, my body. So my feet at the minute, I couldn't show you my right foot. It's horrific.
Because you pick it.
And it's picking.
That's your little thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So at the time
mine's like me skin on me.
Yeah, at the time of Sul being a baby, my trolling was horrific. And I remember I'd cut my face to pieces. And I remember doing something on Instagram. And I remember at this point, my sister was coming to stay with me every day because if I didn't have Sul, I don't know. It was awful. And I've never felt like that before. And that's the only time I can ever relate to someone saying they felt like that.
Yeah.
And I remember people was literally saying like, look at her face, like how like she's a mess, she's a state. There's no excuse to look like
that. And then you're basically self-harming yourself and making it worse.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, and then you think, how can you see someone who's blatantly said like, when I've got anxiety, I pick. How can you see someone and you know that they look at their worst and continue to go at them? It's insane.
They're unhappy in their own life. I'm sorry, but happy people do not hate. And that's it. And it's down to jealousy, but then we've got to take responsibility, which I take responsibility. So for example, I'll post something online, I don't know, like say I'm working with a company and I'll go and get like, well, I don't know, me, Matt and Olive will go somewhere.
Yeah.
They'll say it is that we're getting a free day gifted. No, it's not. It's business. It's marketing.
Yeah.
The company are paying someone with, you know, people who are interested in what they're doing. And we're also giving tips and tricks as well. Like you're a hairdresser, I'm a makeup artist. So we do give like makeup, hairdressing tips and things like that. Yours like how to grow your hair, which is obviously what you're thinking. Mine's like little makeup tips and then
which you've done so well. And also, I'm sorry, why would you not take them opportunities to build a life for yourself? Because you've managed to give Olive an amazing life from them opportunities. What do people want you to say no to them?
Yeah, it's hard, but then with what's happening at the moment with the country and everything. People are struggling, and then what's happening is they're going online and seeing me and you and our 12-second snippets of our day, thinking, oh, look at her, she's got this on, she's getting this free, she's going there, and she's going with that. And it's like, well, no, we've worked hard, and we do work hard.
Yeah, we do.
And
100%.
we can acknowledge that ourselves, that we do work hard, and no one can take that away from us.
And that's in no way us saying, well, work hard and you'll get this. Everyone's like aims and things are different. So obviously
oh my God, I seen someone speak about this. Do you feel like your goals from pre-baby are so different now?
Completely different. I thought so I don't know if you'll be like this motherhood journey, like, because we digressed a bit and now we're back. Motherhood journey pre-Sully, I was like working like 10-hour days, like insane.
Oh my God, I was working more than that.
Yeah.
I was literally like making myself
I was doing like more than that.
Yeah, I was going to say you're probably doing 7 days a week, about 16 hours a day.
8 in the morning till 10 at night was. That was
that's
me.
what I was doing. Well, I was 5 o'clock in the morning because I do weddings, graduation makeups. I was on this conveyor belt.
Yeah. So when I got pregnant in my head.
I call it a hamster wheel.
Yeah, this was us. I thought I'd have Sully. I didn't. Obviously, I'd never been a mum before. I didn't plan to breastfeed. I thought I'd have Sully, and within 5 weeks, I thought I'll be back at work doing my clients.
Oh my God, I told everyone I'd be back within 6 weeks.
Yeah.
2 years later,
and then
I
had him, and this sounds so bad to say, I am so lucky that I had him in lockdown, because I got to be off with him, and that completely changed what I wanted. I wanted to be like on a farm, herbal, living off the land.
That's what I'm like, and like I'm now. It's weird, like things that used to excite me, like a handbag, for example.
Yeah,
like a Jaguar one from Karama, that would excite me as well. But then a real one in like Selfridges and that. Now I'm like, oh my God, that money that you could spend on that handbag, you could literally take like the kids somewhere amazing. Or do you know what I mean? Like your priorities change, and like your life completely changes. So let's go back to, because I feel like we've run off our track.
This is going to be a podcast about digressing.
Yeah, I don't know, what does that mean?
So like when you're on one subject and then you go off onto 5.
But can I just say, every mum who is listening to this podcast will know when you're out with your mum friends and your little kids rugrats, I call Olive Damien sometimes, so your little Damiens, or I call her Diva Forever as well, that's her other nickname.
I love that.
But yeah, so when you're out with them, when you're having a conversation with another mum, you literally have one conversation about one thing and then go on to something else. Then you can go, I can smell poo, 1 sec, sniff their bum, and then or go to the toilet.
So this was us at the play centre.
That was me and you.
Yeah, and then
it's like every time.
Yeah, but I did an epic fail. Went to put Sully on the toilet, didn't take any nappies, he'd pooed. So then I was like I didn't tell you this when I come back. I had like them blue paper towels under the tap washing his bum down.
Oh my God, we've all done it. Literally, the amount of times especially at like the first year, I just feel like I constantly could smell shit.
Do you know what's funny though? Don't you know your own child?
Oh yeah, like
so
Olive could walk into a room and she's pooed, I could smell it.
Yeah, you know your child's scent. Yeah, so I've been to nursery before and smell it. Obviously, like the very end of the day, I'm not saying nursery, I've changed nappy. Yeah, and I've smelled I thought he's pooed. And I just know, because I know it's his bum.
So us mums have this weird sense of smell of poo. When a child walks into their room, you can smell their shit from a mile off.
How bad is this? My life has changed so much.
Literally like that. What defines motherhood? Not like hot, like bags.
Yeah. Do you want to know the worst thing?
What?
If I could like put it into a scent forever for when he's older and don't poo in nappies anymore, I would.
That explains you in a nutshell.
I am a helicopter mum.
Yeah,
you
are.
I would scent my son's poo so that I had it forever.
There are companies that will create candles with the bespoke scents for you.
Don't make me do it, because I will.
Guys, whoever the company who's watching, Naomi wants a candle of Soul's shit.
You would know that this is going to be a new thread.
It's so funny. But yeah, so let's talk about...
Can I say one quick thing?
Go on.
We're not going on to trolling in this episode, but I got accused off a troll of being that obsessed with breastfeeding that I forced my boob into Sully's mouth and that he hated it, and that because I was so obsessed with breastfeeding him.
I've seen her tits, they're great. I'd love them in my mouth.
Well, Sully does. He loves every day.
He loves it. Look at them jugs. They're amazing. I mean, I call them branders. That's like what, because I had massive branders, didn't I?
Mine are hot dogs, and we sing the Mickey Mouse hot dog song.
Hot dog, hot diggly dog.
That could be the theme tune for the pod.
Mums who are listening will be like, had dad. And that, by the way, I'll have that in my head all day now.
So if anyone ever sees me in Trafford, because do you get messages sometimes like, I've seen you in Trafford?
Yeah, I love the Trafford Centre, but when I go out, it's like, I've seen you out and I wish you could say hi.
Yeah.
Please come and say hi to us.
Please sing hot dog to us.
Come and sing hot dog to us. Maybe don't mention the candles smelling shit. Like, that'll be you, like, in a year's time.
Another level, though, I have
candles
my
smelling
breast
shit.
milk made into a ring with Sully's hair strand in it.
I love that. No, I actually love that.
It's gorgeous.
I think that's so
I know,
cute.
I've not got it on today. I'm annoyed at myself.
Oh, and you have it on a ring?
Yeah, in a ring.
God.
I had it made into a ring.
Can you see the hair in the breast milk?
Yeah, it's gorgeous. People always ask me where it's from. And I'm like, it's Sul's breast milk. And they're like...
No, your breast milk.
Well, my breast milk.
Well, it is, technically.
Yeah.
He's owned by you because, let's be honest, our kids own us.
They do.
What's the saying where it's like, it's the kids' world and we're all just living in it?
I do
it's
think as
world.
well, our children love them and they're amazing and perfect to us, but are crazy. This morning, Sully went, I don't want to go nursery. And I was like,
oh my God, I'll have to go to my mum's. Yeah.
Did you not? And he went, I'll just come to work.
Maybe it's their age.
Yeah, he went, I won't be
put
a
it up
nuisance.
on Instagram, you know, and everyone's saying it's like,
have they?
it's like a, like a leap.
Yeah.
Did you have the leap app? Did you delete it? You lived by it?
I lived by it.
So I had it and then I deleted it.
Oh, did you?
Because
I
was expecting and waiting for something bad to happen.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
so,
I do completely
so
understand
I love the
that.
leap app because then when they are going through like a time, you're like,
it reassures you a bit.
Some app's telling me that my life's falling apart and it's meant to happen.
So this is a good thing on parenting, like talking about like what gets you through it and what's different and what works for each other.
So let's go back to where we need to go because we're just
right now
rambling
you're
on.
thinking, where am I going with this?
Yeah, so let's go back. So let you go first. Let you talk about your becoming a mother, because let me just say this, guys, and this is what the pod is for me. Motherhood has defined me. Motherhood has changed me. And motherhood is what I live, breathe and die. My life in the last 5 years, I've made decisions all based on being a mum.
I think that's what this is definitely, like when we're saying what's the podcast about, I think
we're not saying that we love being a mum all the time, by the way.
But I think you've just
it's
literally
hard.
said why are we doing this podcast? That is why.
And then what, you had another reason?
I forgot it.
Let
me get my notebook.
Okay, go on. Let me have a little drink and then we'll get the notebook. Guys, I hope you're enjoying this. I feel like none of it has made sense and anything that we've said so far, but I hope it does. And I hope the listeners like it.
So the book is out. Oh, it's not in the book.
It's not in the book. Where is it? It's not in the book. Oh, it's in her phone. You showed me it before and I loved it, what she said.
So last night I was literally like thinking, so this podcast is basically to embrace our differences and build each other up.
That's it. We're not here to judge other mums. We're not, are we?
No, 100%. And I think that's a big thing.
That's where everything's going wrong.
It is. And now, so you will notice this because we both work in the public sector. So I obviously have a salon and we have so many different women coming in. So
loads
many
of different
mums.
opinions.
Yeah. And people, I feel
I know
like...
from having the salon, yeah.
Yeah, people, I think that's another thing that we're ready to go on to because I know that you're all desperate to listen.
Oh, God.
Actually, let's go on to that because we've gone through... We know that people are different and we want to embrace it. If you do one thing, if you do another, it's completely fine.
And also you get criticised for doing one thing. Like I feel like you will probably get criticised for still breastfeeding Sul.
All the time.
Do you? Yeah.
All the time.
What is going on? We're in 2022.
It's actually insane. And you know the worst thing? So we went on a Santa cruise the other day and the woman next to me was extended breastfeeding and she said it's so nice to see someone extended breastfeed. And I was like, well... when does it stop? And she said, I don't know. And I was like, well, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
When people ask me all the time, when are you stopping? I don't know. It still works for us. So why are people so bothered for it to stop?
People are affected by other people's actions and their decisions on their life. But they're only affected by it because it's triggering something for themselves.
So I 100% think this. Whenever someone tells me something to do with parenting, if I haven't done that, it doesn't... I don't care what they're doing because I'm so confident in my parenting choices.
I mean, I'm not always confident in mine.
Yeah, I wing it.
Yeah.
But I think if you get bothered and triggered by something, it's not the person that's triggered you. You need to ask yourself, why am I bothered?
Exactly.
So this happens to anyone. So I follow a mum on TikTok. on Instagram, sorry, and she is full herbal natural mum.
Yeah,
and once she did a post, and I was a bit like, well, I can't do that. And then I didn't get angry at her. I just thought, I'm obviously triggered because I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm not hating her because I didn't hate her, but I'm not angry at her because she's doing something that I think is wrong. I'm a bit upset because I want to live what she's doing.
Yeah, but then if we come together...
Yeah,
and embrace each other's differences, because I think me and you are very different mums.
Yeah,
don't you think? But then at the same time, we're so obsessed and in love with our kids.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You can do different styles, but you still love your child. So what does it matter?
And you know, you have different versions of like it's not different versions. Sorry, you're more of a gentle parenting
approach.
Yeah. Whereas I've tried to do that with Olive.
So I do think boys and girls are very different though.
Yeah.
Because think of women in general. Yeah.
We're all different, yeah. That's why everyone clashes. Too many personalities, too many
But we're here to embrace them.
We're here to embrace them and we're all for that, and that's the point. Right, I want to hear your motherhood journey.
So I'm just starting from thinking, doing bullet points down. So we had 3 miscarriages.
Yeah.
We was going through like fertility checks at the hospital.
3, that's a lot.
3 was
and
a
how?
lot.
What was the space of that?
Very early on. I was so early.
Doesn't matter how. By the way, it does not matter if a miscarriage is early on. Yeah. It's still a miscarriage. When you see them lines that you are positive, that baby, you as a woman, you make plans in your head. Your body, everything changes. Yeah. Your whole life changes at that point. So anyone who says that you can't grieve from an early pregnancy, well.
So this is a big thing. On my 2nd miscarriage, so I had a bleed and went to the hospital, and the doctor who examined me and told me that you've had a miscarriage. So obviously I was crying my eyes out. It was heartbreaking.
Oh my God. When I got told, it was awful. It was just like dead quick, and it was like...
Yeah, it's like nothing, isn't it? The doctor actually said to me, which I feel awful for his wife, he said, my wife lost at 6 months, so it's not that bad. That's what a doctor actually said.
No,
and I was young.
It's not that bad.
Yeah,
yes,
so I think
he
thought that I was young.
He doesn't know what you've gone through in the past to even conceive. He doesn't know anything. It's so wrong. And that things like that annoy me.
A health professional would say that. So then when we did get pregnant with Sullivan, so it turns out that I have too much testosterone, and now I'll get called a man, and I don't have enough progesterone to carry.
By the way, is this why you've got hair like Rapunzel?
It could potentially be, actually.
Yeah, because of all the testosterone.
Maybe I'm going to
Google
that.
And great big juglets.
I'm going to Google.
Yeah, Google it.
Yeah. So then I found out that I had to have extra progesterone. So during my pregnancy, I had to have 2 progesterone pessaries inserted every single day, which was... we'll go on to that in another podcast, because that was just like... Because obviously we're going to do one about this, and I can go into the ins and outs. And then I suffered really bad with hyperemesis. Do you know... Have you heard?
No.
So,
but I did follow you.
I was in hospital
because you were sick all the time.
Yeah, I was in hospital. So sometimes people say they've got it, and I don't mean it's any bad way, but I was literally, and a lot of the women I've seen in hospital on a regular basis, for like 17 weeks in and out of hospital, to the point my client had to drive me to hospital once, and I would literally...
could you not work then?
So I tried to work. I don't know, I'm a grafter. I am a grafter.
Yeah.
I would put 2 foils in and lie on the floor. So I'd literally, my client would be in the chair, and I'd just lie on the tiled floor and have a minute, be sick, try and do it again.
I can so imagine you doing that, by the way.
I am a grafter. That's another conversation we need to go on to, because apparently I'm not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then luckily, we'll go into the ins and outs at another time, but luckily I had this perfect healthy boy. But with hyperemesis...
The best little boy, by the way. If you have met Sol, you'll know. He's so gorgeous, and his personality, he's so loving. Like,
such a loving
gives
boy.
Me a big hug. He's just dead cute. Like, he's gorgeous.
Thank you. That makes me happy. And so with hyperemesis babies, they're actually stronger than the mum. So when I was in hospital, I was panicking like, oh my God, I've lost 3 babies. Like, am I going to lose my baby
How
again?
mad though, by the way, that you've gone through like obviously 3 miscarriages, and then when you actually have your baby, you go through absolute hell during that pregnancy.
Yeah.
But that that is the reason the way you are as a mum. That's why you, like, Saul could do something and you because I've been there, and he's like, you know, when we were in your
on
sushi,
a conveyor belt in your sushi.
and like I would get really stressed about that, whereas you were like just dead calm, dead chill. But I think it's because what you've gone through, you're like every moment is just like you appreciate it. So precious.
100%, yeah. So when I was in hospital, I remember saying like, will my baby be okay? And they was like, look, we're more concerned about you. My hyperemesis was that bad that the acid was burning through my throat. So they were saying it's better for you to eat and be sick, because otherwise my teeth went all really
it's
bad.
sick and the acid,
it was just awful. But at the end of it, I've got this perfect little boy.
Forget all about it, and you do it again.
Yeah, and then obviously having him, we went into a lockdown, and then I became this herbal thingy mum, which I never expected to be.
Yeah.
But
you say hippie mum, don't you?
Yeah, because
that's what she said before, that she's like a hippie mum, and I was thinking, what type of mum am I?
So this is a mad thing. Why are we putting categories? But I always get called a hippie mum. Yeah. Tell me your mum. Tell me your journey.
So I was always the auntie. I was always the one who was like looked after all the kids, and I was like always dead good with kids. Like always had like my godson and like my niece come and things like that. And with my ex-partner, I did want kids, but I was like, I was always putting it off. I don't know why. I think it's because I knew like the relationship wasn't right. Yeah. I was so obsessed with my weight. Like,
that's so heartbreaking.
Yeah. And one thing, and even now, getting pregnant again, I'm actually scared for the amount of weight I'll put on. How wrong is that?
That's
how wrong. I'm all about self-love, by the way.
Yeah.
But then
but
I do struggle.
Points.
So anyway, long story short, I met Matt. Love of my life. Pain in my arse, by the way.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt. Matt won't even listen.
Won't even listen.
He won't even listen. Like, no, he will listen. He sent me the cutest message this morning for today and stuff. And that's just so Matt. He's like, push yourself out your comfort zone. You're never going to get anywhere by staying where you are.
I love that.
Oh, he's like the motivational speaker ever.
He's so like happy as well. I know I met him.
No, he isn't.
So when I met him at the event when I first met you, and you was like, "This is Matt," and he just seemed like dead happy.
Matt is like so friendly, so nice, so down to earth as well. But then he is we argue every single day. But I would be bored. Like,
so I think arguing is healthy, because I think if you agree,
we argue about like the dishwasher.
Yeah, so I think each person is an individual, and even if you're in a relationship, you're still an individual. Yeah. So if you agree on everything, one of you are not speaking your mind.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. So anyway, so met Matt, and it was just like very like love at first sight, like literally very well in romance, and I think I knew I was like ready for a baby. Not I think. I knew I was ready for a baby before I met him, but we just opened Dalin, and it was like...
So I think this is like a big thing that people want to ask, don't they? Yeah. I know, but are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to talk about
Dalin.
Nothing actually happened. It was me, and I made the decision. I basically went through hell prior to having Olive, and...
Because I remember you had a miscarriage before Olive, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a miscarriage, but then this is when the trolling started. So for me, I lost who I was completely, and this is when I wanted to not be here.
Why did it get you at your lowest?
I don't know.
Understand.
Well, it's the universe, isn't it? But it's made me who I am today.
They must see like an opening, like, like a crack, and they're like, right, we've got a way to get in.
Yeah, and then that's it. Then it's there, but... I don't know, again, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, because I wouldn't be who I am today and as strong as I am today if that all didn't happen.
So I think that everything happens for a reason, and I live my life by it.
Yeah.
And do you know, like that whole thing of supernova? So do you know what a supernova is?
Yeah.
So I feel like trolling is like when they find a crack to get into you, but then you literally, I think after every low point, you like boom and become this person.
Oh my God.
Because I think it took me to get to my lowest to be not who I am now. But
when
that's
you
the
hit
same
rock
with
bottom,
you.
There's only one way up from rock bottom. Yeah. And I think a lot of mothers go through rock bottom.
Yeah,
like obviously you can have it when you're pregnant, you can have it after you've had the baby, because postnatal depression and prenatal depression is
massive. Did you suffer with any?
I had prenatal depression and not postnatal. Postnatal for me, post-baby was the best time of my life. It made me who I am today because of the shit that I went through. So with Dalin, I just decided, like, I was I didn't want to be away from Olive. I thought I was going to be back at work within 6 weeks after. And then I couldn't give it my all. I couldn't give Dalin my all. And I also, me and Cheryl, like Cheryl to this day, I value her so much. And, you know, she might even come on the podcast one day. Because she's very
a very businesswoman, isn't she?
She's very business and she's so powerful as well. Like she just doesn't give. Like,
so I love people like this.
And she inspires me, whereas I'm like a worrier and I like worry about what people think too much. I don't anymore. I literally couldn't care less now. Like, long as my friends and family know who I am, that's all that matters. Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily like the business, like, or Dalin or whatever. Obviously the beauty industry's hard.
Before it.
Yeah, I just wanted to be a mum.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable.
And I was so grateful that I had other opportunities, other opportunities, form of income to be a mum, and I could be a mum full time with Olive and still earn money.
I think that's a big thing people don't understand as well. I think people think like, well, if you're being trolled, just come off social media, but social media is our job.
Yeah,
like social media,
and people have tried to ruin that for me, but they're never going to win because they're not, because trolls don't win. They just don't.
No, they don't.
They think that they do.
If anything, they
teach us.
They've taught us and they've helped us grow.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Peace to the bad vibes.
Yeah.
But it is true. They definitely make you.
But then also with the trolls, they've said things to me that like I've done or whatever, and it's taught me to be a better person, give myself more education, learn from things.
So we're not going to go into trolls on this, but like a specific thing, if, like you're thinking now, like what's a thing a troll said that's pushed you to do more?
That I don't know, because there's not one specific thing for me, and I don't really take what they say anymore. It doesn't, I don't know. For example, they used to say I was like fat and hunchback. Oh, and then like they called me like truffle hog and things like that. So I'd always be like, so I lost 3 stone after I had Olive. I lost 3 stone, but then
the worst thing is, you're gorgeous and you've got an amazing personality and you're an amazing mum. So that's all. But
my weight goes up and down. Like I'm, I've put on half a stone, and then they always say like I added my picture. Oh, that was it. Sorry, edit. That's one thing they said about me using filters and editing my pictures. And to be fair to them, I agree with you guys. I'm so glad that you gave me hell over it, because I edited them so badly. And now I've got Olive. I don't want her to think like I try not even use, like the Paris filter. I try not use that anymore, because I don't want her to grow up thinking that. But then I understand why women use filters. Loads of people do them because they feel so insecure because of society.
So I think this is a crazy thing. You're telling people to stop editing and stop using filters, but then you're also calling them as a person. So how can you tell someone to stop using it?
Call them fat, call them this. So it's like it just goes round in circles. So motherhood. So let me go back to that. So I basically when I met Matt lived in London, his job was in London, and so we were doing like long distance for a year, and then we said that we were going to try for a baby, and then he got a job up here, and then obviously we started trying for a baby. I had no idea about miscarriages. I literally had no clue. Like I just didn't. I don't
think anything can prepare you until you go through it.
Yeah.
I know it sounds so daft, but I don't think you can ever fully understand a situation until you're in it yourself.
And you've had 3, and I asked you before, but I didn't. You answered. How many years was that miscarriage go over?
So 2 close together, and then I think it was like a year, and then 1, and then with just no pregnancies for a few years, and then Sullivan.
Yeah.
So them 3 was like in a similar time span, and then I went ages just getting myself super healthy. I'm not saying not healthy as a contributor, but we just went through years of just not trying. Yeah.
So, because it's like you want to you sort of give up a bit, don't you? It sounds awful, but you're like basically just stick it in.
Yeah, and I need you spare.
Yeah, and you do all these things. Yeah. Like it sends you crazy.
It does. It'd be like roll over, and I'd be legs up the headboard.
But like apparently that doesn't even make a difference. Doesn't work. So obviously we had Olive. But for me, who I was prior to Olive, like I went for a walk with my best friend yesterday, and she said something to me that someone had said, and it's really stuck with me.
So I don't like being told anything.
Oh,
I would rather.
this is good.
Do you? No, I want to know this. But do you know, like, so if I sometimes get a message or someone tells me what a troll has said, I'm like, oh, I don't want to know.
I used to be like that. Now
Did
I
you?
literally couldn't give two. My mum says 2 hoots.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm aware it's happening. I just want to block off to it. It's not happening, and I just don't even want to know.
But I think what they say, I don't know. Sometimes I take it like, do you know what? They could be right. And then I'll be like, do you know what? I'll change. Or do you know what? No.
Yeah.
Like, there's 2 directions that you can go from. You can take what someone says and really let it affect you, or you can use it and think, do you know what? This is going to make me a better person.
Yeah, and like we said before, that is on you, how you take it.
That's how
and
you
what
take
you
it.
do with it.
I know who I am. I'm not perfect. I am... To describe me as a person, I'm loud. I interrupt people, which can come across as rude.
I love it.
I am, but you're quite
I'm
the
an
same, and you're
interrupter.
definitely not rude. You're like sweet, and
So I don't think
you're like Disney
rude.
princess, isn't Naomi? Like Disney princess.
So I don't think you're rude though.
Well, people can see it
I
as
just
that.
think we've got so much to say and
We're
give.
passionate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very. I think that's
but
what people.
that's not a bad thing.
No, that's an amazing. And as well, so this is like a lot of the thing of where I've gone into gentle parenting.
Yeah.
Because so growing up, I
started gentle parenting. Can I just say, I tried it. And failed.
So I'm loving it. You changed styling method, and that's okay as well.
Yeah.
So growing up, I didn't have like a good family dynamic.
No, you've had a really hard upbringing.
And like I couldn't ever speak my mind. I felt I always had to agree with someone because I never would want to upset. It's like eggshells constantly. And then going into school, I was loud, but I was quiet, and I always, even if in my head I thought I don't agree with that, I'd be like, yeah, of course I agree.
You're a people pleaser.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And
like
then,
you just agree with whatever the person's saying.
Yeah.
I used to be. And then now I'm like,
so
for example,
now I'm not
like,
as much.
Like WhatsApp groups, for me, I don't like it when people screenshot other people's pictures and things like that and like slate
I
them.
remove myself.
Yeah. So I just don't say anything more, because one time, I'm not even going to go into detail, but someone basically posted something about someone's other kid.
So I don't get
And I was
this.
like, sorry, what?
Yeah.
We are women? Like, what is going on?
And you know the worst thing? It's always women. Because men aren't bothered.
Oh, men don't care. Oh my God. If I tried to speak to Matt about gossip, he'd be like, boring. So this is what, so Olive says it. I'd be like, you guys in the podcast would love it. Like if someone started saying something or whatever, it's like our family thing. We go, boring.
Olive do it.
Boring, mummy. She does it all the time.
I actually love that.
No,
Olive
so-
is amazing. And
Oh my
Olive
God.
is literally,
She's so
she
mad.
is her own person. But that's what I
Yeah, I
love.
love her.
And
Yeah.
that's why I love gentle parenting, because I feel like it's embracing the child as who they are.
Yeah.
So I am so big on, I do not want Sully to be how I was as a child. I want him to know his mind.
But
I want him
look who
to...
you've grown up to be, so that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Very true on that. But then I think I've done this because I lived on my own for a long time, and I think in that time I really found myself. So I am so okay. You know, like some people like need to be with someone or need to have that love. I am so confident in my own skin now, and I want Sully to always have that. So sometimes, don't get me wrong, I think, what am I raising? And I actually think, what?
No.
But then as he's older, he's going to own a business. He's going to be a CEO because he
he's
knows
gonna-
his mind and he's strong-willed.
Yeah. I've seen a few quotes on Instagram about that. Like, stop trying to like change these like babies who are like wild, let's just say. Because that's who they are and that's their personality, and they're going to need that when they're older, because this world is a tough
Yeah, I don't
tough
want him
world.
just agreeing with people because it gets him by. There's a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
I've
And if
not heard of
anyone's
that.
into like stuff like this and manifesting and business, it's amazing.
Oh, okay.
And it's
I love
basically
a
this
book.
boy, he's got one dad, he's got a stepdad and a dad. And his stepdad is like all really good grades at uni, college, everything. And he's done everything by the book, and he's always worked within a business and done well. But he has never like enjoyed his money in his life, whereas his other dad failed at school, but he's always been confident and told himself, I'm going to do better. And he was like this amazing dad that he'd really appreciated life. And it's just amazing
me,
the
I'd say.
differences. That is definitely me.
Yeah, that's us.
If my accountant's listeing, I'm sorry for my mistakes.
Oh my God. And same to me as well. We'll
Because
talk
I live
about
my
that in
life
enough.
thinking that I'm rich dad and I'm not.
Same. It's like, it's the home and bargain, isn't it? It's when you go to home and bargain.
So do you know what I love about you? So I'm a home bargain girl and you're a home and bargain.
Literally.
Yeah. This is like our little differences. People are like, it's not a big difference.
No,
but
it is. It is a difference. It is. But yeah, so motherhood. So for me, but prior to Olive, I I was always like, I'm right and everyone else is wrong and I'm a victim and I can do what I want because I'm a free speaker. And it's like, well, no, Katie, like other people's opinions matter.
Yeah.
And you are not always right. And, you know, the way I come across can hurt people, which I don't do it intentionally because I'm a very kind, nice person. And I know who I am now.
You are a lovely person.
But then now I've got Olive, my friend said, I'm Zen. I've never been called Zen in my life.
So I'm not Zen. I'm not erratic. Zen.
I'm neurotic. Is it neurotic or?
We're both.
I don't even know what the difference is. So I'm both. But then at the same time, I do not care anymore. Like I'm just like, for me, my life is around Olive. So if I can do stuff to be with her, if I can do stuff to like make her happy, and my life revolves around her, and everything in my life I do, in my life is for her. I live, breathe and die for her, basically.
Yeah, 100%.
Because she saved their mummy.
Yeah. And I think no matter what we've done in our past, no matter what someone can use against us, we are good parents and we're good mums. And that is all that matters.
And we've also made loads of mistakes, but then we wake up every day and we get up and we try,
and we've probably got more to make.
Exactly. Oh my God. I feel like with motherhood, I'm like constantly like making mistakes, but I'm not because I'm learning from everything. I'm like winging it.
Yeah.
Like I am genuinely winging motherhood. It's like everything. I was listening to something and it was about being an imposter. And
Do you get imposter syndrome?
No, I don't get
So
even know what
I
that
get
means.
it. I've got it now.
I don't even know what that means.
So like, so I went to an event in London and I turned up and I was like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Like, who am I?
Oh my God, I do that all the time.
Yeah, like,
I'm like, why am I sat with
here?
all these influencers who are like supermodels and I'm sat there, I'm the only one who's eating, I'm the only one who's drinking. I'm
So
always
this was
so
me.
drunk, I don't get one picture when I'm out at these events and it's my job to take pictures.
So I thought mine was a glam event. I turned up in a full-length gown and gloves. No one was dressed up. And
I've
then
done that.
it was Michelin star. Everyone was really posh from London. They were the nicest girls ever. And knocked like a dessert over the table. There was like all these fancy stones. There was a crab with crab inside. A girl had red hair and I went, oh, Little Mermaid.
What did she say?
She just looked at me like,
You had two heads.
I was like, oh my God, you feel like Little Mermaid? And I bet she thought, I'm eating crab.
Oh my God. That is you in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Disney princess, guys, did
So
say it.
I say what's on my mind. That's my flaw. But it's not a flaw. Could be.
Listen, our flaws are who we are.
Yeah, definitely.
And it took me 30 years to embrace them.
This is a question.
I don't want to be the same as
When
everyone else.
you
I don't want to be boring. Not
I don't
boring,
wanna-
but I
yeah.
don't want to be someone who just settles. I don't want to be someone who just tries to be, that's it. Who tries to be like society. So before Olive, my Instagram was trying to be skinny, so I'd edit my pictures. I was trying to be this makeup artist that like did all like these cut creases and things like that. I'm awful at them, by the way. And I was awful when I did them. But I was teaching them and I did it like on the courses. So I was trying to be this perfect makeup artist, Instagram. I was trying to be this perfect girlfriend for someone who cheated on me all the time.
And no
who
one
cheated
is
on me
perfect.
and told me he cheated on me because I was fat. So guys, we didn't realise that we've been recording for so long. It was meant to be like 15 minutes, wasn't it? And we've just rambled on. So we're going to wrap this episode up because we've got another one.
Yeah, we're coming back. I feel like we said we were only going to do 3 and we could be here for hours.
No, we're literally doing 3. I'm only doing 3. I'm too scared to do any more.
Am I joking?
No, I'm doing 3. You can carry on. So yeah.
Thank you for joining Two Mums in a Pod.
So hang on, what's next?
I feel like, so we've both just turned like a big milestone.
And I've just said about being 30 and I've left it a bit on a cliffhanger.
I want to know your journey of turning 30. So next week.
Okay.
Yeah. Next week, let's turn 30.
Okay. So next week, let's turn 30, but then we've got other topics that we do want to speak about.
Basically, we're going to do what we've done today, talk about 100 things and get it into 20 minutes.
And it won't be 20 minutes.
Wish us luck.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.